second shift, running in Boston fans and looking so right. Hey, baby, Big Mama, Boogie Man, and Misty, never sure do look good, brother. Woo! Good afternoon, my friends. It's great to see you guys again. Sorry, I've been MIA for the beginning and rest of this week. Sorry about that. But I'm glad to be here now, and it's good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Wow, 9 p.m. in Greece. Okay. Right on. People listening from Greece. That's wild. It's great to see you guys. I am yes, blessings to you as well, Amanda Erickson. Absolutely. In South Africa. Wow. Okay, man. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So today should be a pretty long stream. There's a lot I want to go over. There's a lot I want to go over. And, I mean, I just sometimes, I gotta here, let me pin that to the top of the chat, dear. Obviously, we want to help our friend Aiden out as much as we possibly can. I guess I just been kind of preparing because I want to there's a certain certain things that I want to start doing differently with the way that I run my channel. Like, I'm not going to change who I am or what I'm doing, just how I'm going to put out content. I think I'm going to just kind of mess around with that, see what that does. But I mean, it's still going to be me. It's still going to be the same stuff you love. Just going to probably cut a lot of clips and put the stuff out, and it's a little tedious, and so it's a little more time consuming. So now the whole thing with you guys, like being so patient, I mean, you guys are like really, 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 really helpful. And I know there's stuff that you guys been wanting to hear me talk about. I'm going to talk about as much as that as much of that as I can. I am going to also I'm gonna absolutely I'm gonna take a deep dive into Turtleboy's charges again. I don't know if I'm gonna do that today or begin doing that today because it's obviously last time it took me 5 streams to do it. And my streams are usually give or take on average about 3 hours. Sometimes I just do 2, sometimes I go up to 5 or 6, but on average, I keep my streams usually about 3 hours. And oh my goodness, wait, what?
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Hey, it's me. Thank you so much. Will, I was hateful and spiteful to you a while ago. I have some life-altering shit going on and took it out on you. I am very sorry. Thank you for being you. I'm really glad that you said thank you for being you to me, meaning that you're grateful that I'm me. Please remember that when I say this. You think $50 is gonna fucking cut it? Who the fuck do you think you are? No, I'm just totally kidding. No, thank you. I don't even remember. I don't know who you are. I don't. No offense. I just don't remember having any rift with you, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Krista limited edition. Thank you so much. Love you, Will. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. Member for 4 months. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Dude, that shit was fucking. What are you talking about, bro? That shit was fucking thespianism. If I convinced you, I'll take it as a compliment. Take it as a compliment. Yeah, man. What kind of shit is that, bro? Kind of shit is that? Fucking Auntie Deb putting me on a 5-minute timeout just because I was a little snarky in his chat. I mean, it was just a little bit of snark. Thank you, Will. Thank you, love you. Thank you, Will. Love your humor. Thank you. Member for 7 months, Sunshine. Wow, Carla. Lynn, thank you so much. You rock. I love your humor. You are my people. Member for 7 months. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, man. Auntie Deb. Free the Dr. Turtleboy. Yes, member for 7 months. Kimberlina, thank you so much. Yeah, man. Auntie Deb gonna put me on timeout for being snarky. Auntie Deb putting somebody on timeout for being snarky. Now I know that was his way of being snarky, but I'm still a little sore about it. I'm not even trying to lie. A little sore. Okay. I mean, maybe he was in a mood. Maybe he was in a mood. I mean, he was only an hour and a half late for his live stream, for his scheduled live stream. Maybe he had some shit going on. Maybe he didn't want to talk about it. And maybe he didn't like my little snark about his tardiness. Okay. How am I supposed to know? Huh? How am I supposed to know? Whatever. It's okay. I'll get over it. But I'm just out there in limbo, like I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, fuck. All right. Okay. Okay. So few things. One thing I have not done yet is go over Alan Jackson's Vanity Fair interview, which I will be doing today. Okay. I know a lot of people have read it. I have not read it yet. So this will be me reacting to it, if that interests you. So yes, I have not read the Alan Jackson interview with Vanity Fair. I am let's see, what else was I gonna do today? What I wanted to do, but I can't seem to find them, but I maybe they're just not available. I would assume a lot of other people would have gone over them if they were available. But I know that Karen filed a motion to dismiss a couple days ago. And now this is news here for me. I have not watched this. I don't know what the details are, but I'm going to find out.
What say is the defendant at the bar leaving the scene after accident resulting in death? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all?
The standard in the civil lawsuit is far different than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard applicable in the criminal case. So the hurdles that the O'Keefe family will have to overcome are lesser than the prosecution has in the criminal case.
And the second thing I want to say is no one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have and my team. Thank you.
I mean, let's talk about this for a second. Like, what lengths do you think Karen Reed will go to protect herself from this bullshit lawsuit after she's been railroaded for the last 3.5 years by an entire local government? What lengths do you think that Karen Reed will be willing to go to protect herself from this bullshit lawsuit? Because the fact is, we all know the circumstances in which make Karen Reed factually innocent. So those circumstances, immediately what they do, automatically what they do is make the lawsuit bullshit. Like, she is not responsible in any way, shape, or form for anything that happened to John that night. Nothing. So there's no basis for this lawsuit from the O'Keefe family. Absolutely no basis. And I find it interesting that the O'Keefes have been backing the McAlberts all of this time. But I wonder, in lieu of this thought of wondering what lengths would Karen Reed be willing to go to protect herself from this frivolous lawsuit? What lengths would she be willing to go? Well, then I would have to go. I'm going to come to, now I don't know. This is something for a law tuber that studied in programs that talk about useless things like this, that the Glare Institute of Law and stuff don't bother with, because frankly, they're quite elementary. But you'd have to ask one of them. Okay. So, but I wonder if what this does is open the door for Karen Reed to present her evidence. Is she going to get to depose people? Is she going to get to, I mean, is she going to have just as much of a fight here? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the O'Keefe family, if this is true, do the O'Keefe family, do they understand it? And would the McAlberts want them to go forward with this lawsuit? Are they trying behind the scenes to stop it from happening? Because I don't think so, because these are the same people that thought colluding and conspiring to lock Turtleboy up would work out in their favor too. So who knows? So I don't know. I mean, that's something I'd like to ask one of the brilliant law minds that I currently have access to. And yeah, speaking of which, I was supposed to be, and the guy to ask this is probably him. Kurt from Uncivil Law reached out to me yesterday and asked me if I could do a show yesterday, but then about a couple hours before we scheduled it, about an hour and a half, he had messaged me and said that he had to cancel. So we'll probably do something next week, is what we more or less agreed on. I'm just the guy that's just like, whatever, man. Yeah, you know, like I'll do anybody's show. I'm down always. And I look forward to it because I've kind of been doing something with Kurt for a while. So I'm really looking forward to it. And that's something I'm going to ask him for sure. Because I wonder if the pendulum swings both ways here. I wonder if Karen can cause this entire lawsuit to blow up in the McAlberts' faces. Not necessarily in the O'Keefe's faces, just in the McAlberts' faces. Does she have more? My big question really is, does Karen Reed have more carte blanche in this civil case to present evidence than she did in the criminal case? That's what because I feel like in theory she does. I feel like in theory, Karen Reed has an opportunity here to present a lot more evidence that's exculpatory to her case than she did in the criminal case. And depending, as long as she doesn't get another Judge Bev, we're looking at a sweep here. We're looking at a lot of eyes on the McAlberts. We're looking at a lot of eyes on a lot of fucking fucked up, dirty people. You know what I mean? In theory, this is just from the founder of the Glare Institute of Law and stuff. So, you know, don't take that to your practice and hit a judge with it. Just say it. It's just theory. We discuss theory at the Glare Institute of Law and stuff. Okay? We're stepping stone to greatness. Sarah Be Creative, member for 5 months. Thank you so much. Happiest Glare-versary. Awesome. I love it. Love the Glare-versaries. Yeah, I see that I have an attorney in chat. I just saw that. This is my boy right here. Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. Sorry, I was just looking over the chat a little bit. All right, let's see what Vinny has to say here about this lawsuit.
Karen Reed won the criminal trial. She won her liberty, her freedom, right? But a trial is supposed to be a search for the truth. But if the one accused of committing the crime is found not guilty, did the truth come?
Wait. Oh. Hi, Nurse Kim. Oh. Welcome, Stephanie.
Come out inside the courtroom? Do we have an answer as to what happened to John O'Keefe? Could that answer come from somewhere else? Could it come from a civil lawsuit? Karen Reed is being sued by the O'Keefes. She won't have the same dream defense team. Here's her new attorneys, Damon Seligson, Charles Waters, Aaron Rosenberg. That's part of her team that'll defend her in this civil case. Let's talk about the civil case and what we may learn and whether or not we'll get closer to the truth. Still with me, Matthew Mangino, Margaret McLean, and Erica Wilson. Erica, let me ask you, and this kind of goes both ways here, right? Because if you believe that John O'Keefe was killed by Karen Reed, will the O'Keefes and their defense team have an opportunity to dive deeper into getting to the truth by subpoenaing, calling to testify, deposing Karen Reed and her parents? On the other side, if you believe that John O'Keefe was killed by people in 34 Fairview, will Karen Reed and her attorneys be able to subpoena and depose all the people that were inside the house that night?
Bro, how much do I love, dude, when fucking Vinny or anybody validates my shit? What was I just talking about? Love this shit. Thank you, Vinny.
Both things are true. So we're looking at two completely different burdens of proof here. The discovery latitude that you have in a civil case is far greater than what you would have in a criminal case. And so, yes, so she will have the opportunity to vindicate herself in ways in which she would not have been able to do in a criminal case. Because in a criminal case, you would have to put on a case in chief, and that opens up a whole bunch of other doors, and you don't necessarily want to get into that. But here, she can, her platform has been that he was killed by police officers. So now she has her opportunity, her day in court again, to be able to establish that. Same thing is true with his family in terms of being able to establish whether her being civilly responsible for her death, his death, is not the
Bro, hold on a second. I gotta say a prayer real quick. Dear sweet baby Jesus, let each and every one of these dirty Massachusetts state troopers and McAlberts have to be deposed. Make them real juicy depositions and make them public. Amen. There we go. Okay. Yeah, thanks. We'll talk later. Okay. I'm in the show. Thank you. God. Yeah, I know. I said, God, I wasn't calling you again. Please. Thanks.
Not the same as being criminally responsible. So they still have a shot at this. And to me, the amount that they're suing for is so nominal. I believe it to be just probably the policy limits that she had on her vehicle at the particular time, that it just seems to be symbolic, and that this family just really just wants to kind of get some closure and have a court of law say that she was responsible for his death.
Absolutely. If you believe she killed your son, you want a sense of justice in some way. You want some jury to come back and say what happened. Let me ask you, Margaret McLean, how much more, if this goes to trial, will we learn about that night?
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that the civil case was filed in Plymouth County, so it's no longer in Norfolk County, which I think will benefit the O'Keefes. Plymouth
That lady sounds like AI, bro.
County happens to be my county. So, and I think a change of venue, first of all, would have been good.
Your county? Stop it. You were created on a computer.
But, we've got depositions.
Like the weird science girl.
So we're going to be learning a lot more about, that came out a lot. That
Never mind.
Came out in trial one, so it'd be kind of like a combination between trial one and trial two.
But there were so many limitations on questions. There were so many limitations in both trials about what the jury couldn't even find out about the federal investigation. I mean, are both sides going to have, like Erica said, much more latitude? And as a result, are we going to find out more? Are people going to be compelled to testify this time around?
They'll be subpoenaed to testify, absolutely. And Karen Reed's deposition will be taken. So we'll learn about what her story really is, other than those Dateline videos, that we saw in the second trial. But a lot more will come out. However, I still think the O'Keefes have a strong case because, again, based on the data and the evidence, there was really hard to prove that anything happened inside 34 Fairview. And all, again, all that will come out, but we might learn some other things like, about the phones, for example, what really happened with Brian Albert's phone and Higgins' phone. Did he really go to the military base to throw out his trash? Or was he deliberately trying to get rid of his phone? So a lot of those types of questions will be answered. But as far as, planting evidence at the scene,
Were you not able to wash the pig blood off yourself after they did that to you at prom night, Carrie?
I think, according to the timeline, there was not enough time for
we can argue
to plant that evidence.
Yeah, well, I want to know what more we're going to learn here. Let me ask you, Matt Mangino. Judge Cannoni limited what the defense could do in their own discovery in getting hands on phone records. I mean, they wanted records of all the people that were at 34 Fairview. Will they be able to fully investigate their third-party culprit allegations in the civil case that was limited by Judge Cannoni in the first two trials?
Yeah, they certainly are going to be able to learn more about that, because when you're dealing with a civil trial and a civil deposition, the questions that you ask and the information that has to be furnished doesn't have to necessarily be relevant to the case, but could lead to relevant evidence. And that's a big difference. And the other thing is, the O'Keefes want Karen Reed to testify under oath. And
does Vinny have say over who is his panelists? Because I find Vinny to be in this position a lot. I'm not saying I'm seeing it here yet, but I feel like I see Vinny in this position a lot, where he's where he has these panelists on, and then he's always like, "What are you talking about? What? How can you say that?" And it's like, I mean, does he do that because he knows he's gonna react to their shit? Because I mean, dude, there's nothing more legendary from Vinny Politan. In my opinion, there's never been a more legendary moment from Vinny Politan than when he had DePetro sitting next to him and was like, "Hey, so listen, today something happened when you were walking down those court steps, and I just want to let you know I'm going to show everybody what happened to you, and then I'm going to ask you about it, okay?" And he played it twice. And it's the funniest shit in the world. It's the funniest shit in the world. So I wonder, does he have the guys like the PP on there so that when those moments finally come, he just goes, "Okay, I'm just gonna let's go ahead and watch that real quick." That's totally what Vinny did. He goes, he's like, "So when you were coming out of the courthouse, John," it was beautiful. It was so funny. So I just wonder, I mean, does he have say over who's on? Is it natural or is it for dramatic effect when he's just like, "What? How can you say that?" I don't know. Whatever. Just thinking.
She's going to have to do that in a deposition. And that, I think, is key.
And her
here,
parents. And her parents as well.
Well, anybody who could have information that might lead to relevant information in the civil case can be subject to discovery, depositions, interrogatories, so many different means to gain this information.
So the search for the truth will be a little bit deeper and maybe a little more thorough and not as limited as it was in the first two trials.
All right. So that was
during this hour, especially during this first story that we're covering.
What is this?
You're going to get angry.
Am I?
You are going to be livid. Trust me.
Oh.
As you.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about today, Vin. Sorry, my man. DePetro is great. Jesus Christ, dude. Is Yaku? Is Yaku? Like, you must be out of your fucking mind. All right, so what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to read the Vanity Fair article with Alan Jackson. And I mean, as you can see, this has got like a great picture there. And this is Julie Miller. I got to meet her when yeah, I got to meet her. That was the day that after the window incident. That was she was sitting at the table when I told Mark about what happened. And then and that's when he called Aiden to find out what was going on. But yeah, she was there, but she was across the table, so she couldn't hear anything of what was going on. Like, I was just kind of like leaning over and telling Mark what was up. And yeah, but she's real nice. But we didn't really interact at all. I think we just met, and then that was it. So oh wait, can I not do I need to like oh man, hold on. Let me sign up. Let me subscribe to Vanity Fair, bro. Let me just do that shit. All right, so see, I just don't see myself reading a whole lot of Vanity Fair, but it's worth it for the article. It's fine. I don't want, hold on, man. I don't want copies of the fucking magazine, bro. God. It's just more trash, dude. No. All right, now let me do this. Dude. I didn't create a fucking password. What the fuck? This is so annoying. Okay, here we go. This is just going to take a second, guys. Stupid shit. All right. Now this should work now. Appreciate your patience, folks. I just needed to subscribe to Vanity Fair to read this article, which I can do now. But nevertheless.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare we?
Look at that. Wallflowers out here making me even Steven. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Appreciate it. All right, so here we go. When Alan Jackson walked into the Dedham, Massachusetts courtroom 2 weeks ago to learn the verdict of Karen Reed's second murder trial, he was supremely confident his client would be cleared of all the major charges against her. Reed, a former equity analyst, was on trial a second time for vehicle manslaughter while operating under the influence and leaving the scene of a collision resulting in death. Charges stemming from her boyfriend John O'Keefe's death in January 29, 2022. Based on the evidence in the presentation and the defense we put together, it was not going to be guilty. It just couldn't be, says Jackson. He represented Reed alongside David Yannetti of Massachusetts, Elizabeth Little of California, Robert Alessi of New York, and Victoria George of Massachusetts during the second trial. Jackson's prediction held true. Reed was found not guilty of these three charges. She was found not guilty of guilty of a lesser charge operating under the influence of liquor. Reed spent her life savings, including the sale of her home, on her defense, which she expanded after her first trial ended in a hung jury last summer. Some of her lawyers worked pro bono, as did 9 law clerks who joined Reed's team for the second trial. Jackson estimates that his firm alone, where Little is a partner, would have billed $10 million for both trials. Wow. $10 million for both trials, dude. If the court even hinted that she was going to give her custody time and make her perp walk out of that courtroom with a guilty on the OUI, we were fully prepared, and Karen was prepared. She was buckled down for the possibility that Judge Beverly Cannoni would give her a year of jail. Had that been the case, Jackson says, we were going to immediately appeal it. Yeah, see, this is so refreshing hearing this because if you remember when I was covering the trial and I'm covering hearings, well, mostly when it's the trial, you'll hear me ask, like, is Jackson just like, is he just fucking spitballing here? Is he prepped for every single thing? Does he have a fail safe for every single possible scenario? And here he is confirming that, yes, he does. This is what he's saying. He's like, yeah, I'm as soon as, I mean, because, and you got to think, what, if you're not really understanding, if you're not really computing and comprehending how badass Alan Jackson and the rest of Karen Reed's defense team is, including Karen Reed, okay? How badass they are. We're talking about, normally you have to, I mean, of course you have to factor in the judge and you have to factor in the jury. That's why you have jury selection. So you have an idea of what this jury is going to want to hear. and how they're going to want to hear it. You know, so you're going to want these things for sure. But I don't think, in theory, I don't think that there's ever been a case where the defense had to prepare so much for variables like the judge just shutting them down, or the judge, you know, as Alan Jackson was stating here, hypothetically throwing her in jail for a year, which is the maximum for what you get for that charge that she was found guilty of. And they were going to perp walk her. Like, they were ready for all that. They had an appeal ready for it right there and then. So to me, that's fascinating. I love to hear that stuff. I love to hear that stuff. Cause I mean, this isn't fucking like, oh, we just got out of law school and, you know, these are unusual circumstances, so let's just kind of wing it. It was like, no, okay. The first time it was like, all right, we're still getting used to the prosecution's audacity. We're still getting used to the judge not seeming interested in doing anything about it. And the second trial, it feels like they were like, okay, now fuck this. Fuck this. We know exactly what to expect from all of these people, and that is to expect anything. This is the craziest shit in the world. The law doesn't seem to matter in this case to the judge and to the prosecution. Ethics don't seem to matter. Justice and truth don't seem to matter. So let's make these things matter. And that's exactly what Karen Reed's defense team did. That's why they're fucking heroes, bro. Like, make no mistake about that shit. Like, what these people did was exactly demonstrate for the past 3 years. This team has demonstrated exactly what defense teams in our what defense attorneys in our American justice systems are designed to do. What they are put here for, what they are made to do, what their existence is. And that is, if they have to go up against a corrupt system, there is a fail-safe. That is a jury of your peers. And that is the presumption of innocence. And that is the burden of proof on the prosecution. Those are fail-safe, cornerstone things that protect someone beyond anything. This is what protected Karen Reed, and this is exactly what Karen Reed's team counted on and used. So when you think about it, if you're sitting there and you ever find yourself in a position where you're thinking about who the damn best fucking defense attorneys that you've ever seen in trial ever were, strongly consider Karen Reed's defense team. Strongly consider Karen Reed's defense team, because they pulled off a fucking miracle. But it's not a miracle. What they did was they demonstrated exactly what our forefathers had in mind for a defense team. Exactly what they had in mind for a civilian's defense when facing charges and when they might even have to go up against an entire corrupt system. And that's what they did. They stayed in the lines, dude. Karen Reed's defense team stayed in the lines the whole time. That's what's awesome. This is what's going to be talked about in law schools forever. Because no matter how unethical the prosecution was, no matter how unethical Bev was, all Karen Reed's defense team did was latch on to the truth and shine a light on it and not let go. That's all it was. Like, if the prosecution is the truth and what it's doing, if the prosecution's running interference so that the truth is like a crackhead in the streets of LA in the 90s and running down the street, and you got Karen Reed and her defense team keeping a spotlight on it, keeping a spotlight on the crackhead. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Even though I hate to compare the truth to a crackhead, but it's the best analogy I can come up with at the moment. Leave me alone. Liz, give their membership. As always, thank you so much for that, Liz. We love you. All right. Let's get back to this article. Canoni said special prosecutor Hank Breenan agreed that jail time was not necessary. Reed was sentenced to a year of probation. Says Jackson, the first thing that flooded over me was, it's over. This odyssey that Karen's been going through, that I've been going through, it's done. Jackson first spoke to Reed in late 2022 when he reached out to the high-profile defense attorney, knowing that she could not afford his rates. He had successfully prosecuted legendary rock producer Phil Spector for murder in 2009, while working for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. And that, in that case, Linda Kenny Bodden from Justice Serve TV was his defense attorney. Before he pivoted to defense, his clients have included pro athletes, royalty, and embattled Hollywood figures, Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. Reed initially hoped to get guidance in obtaining cell phone information, but Jackson asked to hear more about the case. She was being charged with fatally plowing her Lexus SUV into O'Keefe and leaving him to die. But O'Keefe's autopsy photos showed what Reed believed to be a dog bite on his arm and no bruising below his neck. It just didn't smell right, Jackson told Vanity Fair last year. I knew pretty quickly some other forces are at play here to point the finger at her, he said. And it's because those forces want to point the finger away from somebody else. Exactly. See, this is why, like, when I hear Jackson say things like this after this trial's over, when I hear Jackson, and I kind of get it, I'm not blaming like other law tubers and bigger channels so much for holding back about, because there was a lot of eggshell walking when it came to saying things like corruption. When you're saying corruption and, you don't want to accuse anybody of anything and so on and so forth. But I mean, I wasn't scared of it. But there was a lot of people that were like, that were just like, oh man, I don't know if I want to go there. That's a lot, but to hear Alan Jackson, to be one of the few people that were just like, fuck that shit. That shit is corrupt as fuck. So like, whenever that would happen, like I look back on that when I hear Alan Jackson basically saying the same thing. And it's just like, fuck yeah, dude. I love that shit. Like, it makes me feel not sorry at all that I didn't hold back this entire time. The defense investigation and a federal probe uncovered destroyed cell phones, a suspicious late-night Google search, a curiously relocated dog, and shifting stories from prosecution witnesses. During the first trial, Reed's team put together a defense around their theory that some combination of former Boston police officer Brian Albert, ATF agent Brian Higgins, and Albert's nephew Colin were involved in O'Keefe's death. All three men deny any involvement. After the trial ended with a hung jury, though, Reed's team pivoted to a Bowden defense, or Bowden defense. Seems like, I feel like it's Bowden. I don't know. Whatever. The Reed's second trial began in April. Her defense argued the law enforcement's investigation into O'Keefe's death had been so poor and myopic that the agencies did not even interview certain witnesses, let alone consider other suspects. During the first trial, Jackson subjected the case's lead investigator, former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor, to a withering cross-examination, eliciting testimony that Proctor had the case wrapped up within 16 hours of starting it, before even setting foot on the crime scene. Right. This past March, Proctor was dishonorably discharged from the Massachusetts State Police for misconduct on Reed's case, which we like to refer to as desgraciado, sucio, puerco. Proctor is appealing the decision, according to his lawyer, rather than call the disgraced detective to the stand. Brennan notably admitted him during the second trial. You were so embarrassed of Michael Proctor, you couldn't even put him on the stand, says Jackson. Brennan withheld other key witnesses from testifying as well. I thought it was a glaring error to the Commonwealth's part not to call certain witnesses, including Brian Albert and Brian Higgins, Nicole Albert, Matt McCabe, Chris Albert. Jackson says, I see what you did there, Jackson. I see what you did. They didn't want him to be subjected to very vigorous cross-examinations because the Commonwealth knew they would not withstand it. Cross-examinations are Jackson's favorite part of the trial. I want the jurors looking at me to see the look on my face, my body language. I want them to listen to the tone of my voice and then turn back around and watch how the witnesses react, how the witness reacts. That is the fun of a trial, a good, solid cross-examination, and it requires an enormous amount of preparation. Every single question I ask is highly scripted because I'm building to something else. It's like a symphony. It's a beautiful thing to execute. I love to hear that shit because, dude, you can easily picture. What's up, Dino? What's up, Micro Dots? You can easily picture AJ standing in front of a mirror and just fucking like rehearsing everything, imagining the reactions from the witness and how he's gonna fucking all kinds of just fucking around with a bunch of different scenarios that could fucking happen and just mentally preparing himself for any possibility that could happen in a interaction with a possibly hostile witness, right? It's just dope, right? He's just going over he's probably got somebody sitting there playing Jen McCabe, throwing fucking curveballs at him. Like, I mean, that shit's dope. What's up, Sleuthy Goosey? That shit's dope. Like, when you think about it, it's dope. Like, yeah, I could see McConaughey being AJ in Karen Reed's movie, or as like a cameo in Turtleboy's movie. I'd rather see McConaughey as a cameo in Turtleboy's movie. I think this shit'll be awesome. All right. The lawyer realized his cross-examination skill set during Spector's 2007 and 2009 trials. Vanity Fair's Dominic Dunn was impressed enough with Jackson to describe him in this very magazine as a courtroom orator with a theatrical flair. Because of Spector's deep pockets, Jackson faced off against the country's best lawyers and experts, including forensic scientist Henry Lee and forensic pathologist Werner Spitz, who worked on world-famous cases, including the John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. assassinations and the O.J. Simpson case. That's when I realized I'm good at this, Jackson says. Nobody intimidates these guys, but I was able to not just hold my own. I was able to, I don't want to use the word defeat, but you can certainly win an argument. No, he defeated them. I'll use that word. He mopped the fucking floor with these people in cross-examination. It was beautiful to watch. I love to see him explain and say every single bit of that was deliberate. Dude, I get up here and I fucking wing everything, bro. I don't prepare anything. I might know what I'm talking about. I might know what I'm going to talk about. But I don't fucking plan or rehearse jack shit when I come up here and go live. Right? So, like, if I were to get into an argument with somebody, I might trip up. I might get tripped up. You know what I'm saying? It might happen. Who knows? But the thing is in Alan Jackson's line of work and his status within that profession, he cannot afford to do that. He has to prepare everything, meticulously prepare everything, and be ready for anything. So, I mean, to hear him basically talk about that is just badass. It's kind of like hearing your favorite director describe what they do. You know? Like it's pretty badass. It's impressive. Like Alan Jackson is just an impressive individual. Like every single member of that team was impressive, equally as impressive in their own way. They were like the legal version of the fucking Bionic 6 cartoon, bro. Like nobody gets that reference. That fucking shit lasted like one season, but I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a really cool story too, like a really cool origin story. I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm going to stay on task. My ADHD just went, ooh, what's that? 1 second. Let me get back into this before I lose my fire. Jackson gauges juror reactions in real time to inform his cross strategy. You have to earn certain things from the jurors. The jurors have to want you to scream at a witness before you scream at a witness. They have to want you to laugh and be sarcastic with a witness before you laugh and are sarcastic with a witness. While cross-examining Massachusetts State Police Trooper Yuri Buchanan, Jackson stepped away from the podium to grab a document while Buchanan was answering. Are you listening? Asked Buchanan. You asked the question I wanted to answer. Jackson retorted, I know the answers to all my questions. I remember that. Oh my God. And if I missed any of these, I apologize.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare
Hi, Will. Just Candy, you're awesome. I have a great day. Thanks so much. You have a great day too. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, that was a great moment. I know the answers to all my questions. So, like, that's dope, right? When you're thinking about it. So, Alan Jackson, remember, I kept saying this. All matters. You need to. I'm in the middle of something here. Alan Jackson is basically like saying what I was saying when we first started, before the first trial. I would always drive this point home when talking about these trials. All that matters is what the jury sees, hears, and how they interpret it. That's it. So for him to have this, and for lack of a better term, kind of puppeteer the jury to bend at his will, more or less. I mean, it's brilliant because he's saying he wants to get an expected answer out of that witness when he's cross-examining them, right? A witness that he knows is full of shit. And he knows that he wants to get the jury to hate them, right? He wants to get the jury to love him and not like the witness. And he wants the jury to be like, oh, shit. Okay, like, what are you going to say to that? You know what I mean? As soon as as soon as the witness says something bullshitty, they're gonna look at Alan Jackson and hang at the edge of their seat so he could just say the next thing that they're hoping he's gonna say, so that they'll shoot their heads right over back at the witnesses or right back at the witness and wonder what the witness is gonna say next. And this is the jury now. The jury's watching Alan Jackson like this, and then they're watching the witness like this. That's what Alan Jackson's looking for, basically, in a nutshell. That was supposed to say, because you're awesome, so he has an extra 10, because I can't. Thank you, McCabe. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. The jurors chuckled, says Alan. And I just struck a stake through his heart. You have to be really comfortable in your own skin to be able to have an argument and know that you're going to win it in front of a jury and national television too. The Texas raised Jackson has looked to lawyers on screen for inspiration. It was Perry Mason growing up, but Tom Cruise's Lieutenant Caffey in A Few Good Men remains exemplar. Now, I feel comfortable talking about certain things now that everything's over, but that was my first. I talked about this on, I think it was Justice Serve TV, or maybe it was Nick Staros. But I was the first night that I met Alan Jackson was at the dinner for that Rich Schiffer won to have dinner with Alan and Karen, right? So that was the first night I met Alan Jackson, and I had to ask him, because we were all at the time, this is long before the second trial, pretty soon after the first trial, right? So, but all of my viewers, I was constantly wondering. One of many questions was that we all had, and I had to ask him, was what is it with Beverly Cannoni? Do you think, what is her deal? Why is she so biased towards the prosecution? And why is she shooting you down every chance she gets? What was the deal with that? And then he was honest with me. And the only reason I feel comfortable saying this, telling this story now, is because he said this on Turtleboys when Turtleboy had the amazing interview with him. And he was like, you know what it is? She just fucking hates me, man. Like, she's used to doing things the way that she likes to do them. And here comes this Hollywood, LA, high profile guy rolling up in her courtroom, shining bright, and she doesn't like it, you know? And then he's like, do you remember that scene in, this is what he says to me. He goes, do you remember that scene in A Few Good Men when Tom Cruise goes to Cuba and he talks to, and he's, as he's leaving, he asks Nicholson, he goes, I'll just need those transfer orders just as soon as you, and then Nicholson goes, yeah, you can have the transfer orders, but you got to ask me nicely. And then I was like, yeah. And right there, I knew where he was. And then we both like recited the rest of it at the same time. And we just had a moment. It was really cool. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it was cool. But yeah, like we recited the rest of that line from Nicholson, like together. I want you to stand there with your Harvard mouth and your faggoty white uniform and extend me some fucking courtesy. And then we just started chilling. We after that, we hardly talked about the case. I did ask him why they didn't show the footage of Higgins going off and being aggressive towards John O'Keefe towards the end of the waterfall, before everybody left the waterfall. I asked him why they didn't go over that footage, but I don't feel comfortable answering what he said there yet. I'd need his okay for that, or I just have to hear him But I did ask him that, and he did give me a very candid answer. And it made sense. I didn't like the answer, but it made sense. Jackson, who went to college on the GI Bill before graduating from Pepperdine University School of Law, mainlined the Rob Reiner directed film during Reed's first trial. He says, I've seen it so many times and it gives me such a boost, he says. Now Jackson and Reed are entertaining Hollywood offers themselves. Wouldn't it be fucking dope? Here, I'll finish reading this paragraph so I don't lose my place. For a book and scripted adaptation of the case, Jackson considers the magnum opus of his career. Now, wouldn't it be dope if they got Tom Cruise to play Alan Jackson in the Karen Reed movie? I feel like that would be dope. I'd like to see that happen. Him or Downey Jr., honestly. But I'd like to see, I mean, just for the fact that Tom Cruise, his character in A Few Good Men was so inspirational to Alan Jackson. I'd love to see Tom Cruise play Alan Jackson. That would just be dope. And you know he could do it. Like, you know, he could play an AJ that we know and love very, very well. Because I'm telling you, I talked about this when we did the casting the other night. I was talking about how I feel like if you take A Few Good Men, Tom Cruise, if you cast Tom Cruise at Alan Jackson and you tell him what his motivation is, right? If he asks me what his motivation is, I'm telling Tom Cruise, okay, I need Lieutenant Caffey. Okay. I need a whole lot of Lieutenant Caffey, but more serious, a mature Lieutenant Caffey. Okay. A mature Lieutenant Caffey, but just a dash of Tom Cruise and Magnolia. Just a sprinkle. Just a sprinkle. That's what I would tell Tom Cruise his motivation would be in playing Alan Jackson. That'd be fucking great. Why does everybody keep saying Jeremy Allen White is Aiden? I don't see that shit at all. Yeah, because the thing is Caffey didn't have confidence in A Few Good Men. That was his big thing. He didn't have any confidence. He was still a rookie lawyer. He didn't give a shit. What he did was he made deals and stayed out of trials, like deliberately avoided trials because he was afraid of not living up to his father, the greatest trial lawyer ever. Right? That's the whole thing with Danny Caffey and A Few Good Men. But you imagine Danny Caffey after getting that huge win over I'm trying to think of Nicholson's character's name in the movie, Jessup. So that big win over Jessup probably boosted his confidence more, had a lot more trial experience, and then you get AJ. That's what you get. Like I said, with a sprinkle of Tom Cruise in Magnolia. Just a dash. AJ goes on to say, I doubt that there's a judge in Massachusetts who hasn't in some way been affected by the Karen Reed trial. I doubt that there's a prosecutor, a defense attorney, or even a potential juror who hasn't been somehow affected. We brought to light some very, very, very uncomfortable realities about the Massachusetts justice system, and those realities need to be addressed. I love it. That's no quit right there, spelled out. Asked for an update on Reed, Jackson says, as much as she is relieved and elated and so very, very thankful to all of the people who have given her undying and unyielding support, it's been an unbelievable amount of stress to her to deal with for the last 3.5 years. And it's not like a light switch. You can't just turn that off. Before he left Boston, he says he warned her, you're a different person coming out of the back end of this thing than you were going into it. And it's going to take you a minute to figure out what the new normal is for Karen Reed. And that's it. That's the whole article. Julie Miller. Well done. Excellent. Now, what I do want to do, because I haven't watched the video yet. We listened to it live, but we want to watch the video. Now, here's the thing is we're going to move on to the Turtleboy subject here. And in regards to Aiden's case, what we're looking at is possibly, I mean, the best way that I can explain it is I'll play this real quick. Because actually, you know what? I'm not going to play that. That's stupid. So the thing about Aiden's case is there's going to be a lot of text messages that are going to come to light. And we're waiting for this bomb to drop. Now, check this out real quick. I will show this. So, oh my God, this is fantastic. So, DePetro posted this and only this morning. And of course, I commented something to the effect of, you know, like, way to fucking make the most fucking ominous post ever, dude. Like, what the fuck? But it's quite funny because Joe Flipperhead is at it again because he's fucking hilarious. Now everyone's having fun with this little post from Mark DePetro, the mighty Mark DePetro.
Give us fucking McDonough and we'll go easy on you. Give us fucking McDonough and we'll go easy on you.
Oh my fucking God, bro.
Give us fucking McDonough.
I can't,
and
dude.
we'll go easy on you.
That is so good. It was fucking McDonough and we're go easy on you. So like yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go over this, bro. Like, everyone's falling apart, and it's great. Oh, I love it. Oh, there's more shit here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come back and check this out. Okay, hold on. Now, in lieu of talking about the lawsuit, the LOL suit, of the O'Keefes against Karen Reed, you have this dickhead. Yes, I know.
Ooh, you suck.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Now, in lieu of this asshole, in lieu of the the O'Keefe family lawsuit against suit against Karen Reed, in lieu of that, it's fun to listen to John DePepe's take on why I like to see him sit here and really struggle with why the McAlberts haven't filed a lawsuit against Aiden or against anybody. This is fun.
I mean, where is it? I don't see anything. I don't see anybody speaking out. I don't see any lawsuits, which I really defy logic. How is Colin Albert not? I don't get that. He wasn't even mentioned this time around. They basically were going after him, and he had to leave college.
Like, you can see this guy's fucking brain trying to work, dude. Like, that's what's going on right now. Like, it's like he's got a fucking like a fucking yank start his fucking brain like a mower, and he just put gas in it because it ran out, and he's just trying to like just fucking rip start that fucker. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's trying to do with his brain. Like, this is the shit that everybody's been saying. Like, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. It's not suspicious. It doesn't fucking, it's not obvious to you, you fucking dolt, that Karen Reed is speaking out because she wants the truth to be told, and these other people are keeping quiet and hiding in shadows because they're maybe, I don't know, afraid of the fucking truth. You dumb shit. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand what the dude. I can't wrap my head around. I don't understand why there's no lawsuits. There's no lawsuits, and there's nobody speaking out. They're just gonna take all of these accusations of being cop killers. It just doesn't make any sense. Dude, you're fucking retarded.
Because people were, calling him a murder. Yannetti was trying to get him added to that. Seemingly, he had nothing to do with it. I don't get it. Now, again, I don't know him.
You don't get a lot, bro.
So,
including vagina.
I am surprised.
Or respect.
Like, where is the litigation on some of that stuff? And how come there isn't someone speaking out and saying, let's be clear about what happened here? I don't know. I mean, Norfolk County.
They're never going to, dude. Like, they're never going to. They're never going to. They're so famous for the wrong reasons. They're so famous for the wrong reasons, and all they'll do is blow our channels up. They know it. They know it. All they'll do is make us more popular. All they'll do is shine more light on their shit. You think I'm going to get quiet if I get sued? Dude, anybody sends me a C&D, dude, I am wiping my balls with it. It's not even good enough for my ass. I want to treat it nicely and rub like something soft and cool on it, on the C&D. That's what I want to do. Just rub something soft and cool. That's what I'm going to do, is rub my balls with a C&D, bro. Go fuck yourself. Never fucking shut me up. Never is a piece of paper going to shut me up. Ever. No fucking way.
Without question, has been in the center of the storm, and people would call it a laughingstock. Certainly no profiles in courage. That's for sure. Like, I don't get it. I've had people, I would say, with people even in media that I've spoken to, saying, like, I don't get the silence from all. Like, how come they're not?
Like, it's funny because, like, it's like he's just blatantly deliberately ignoring the obvious answer. They're cop killers, you dipshit. That's why they're being quiet, because they got nothing to hide behind now. They didn't get their fucking railroad job conviction. So now people want justice for a Boston police officer. 3.5 years isn't long enough to forget that. We're not tired yet. We're not tired yet. I'm not tired. Anybody else feel tired? I don't feel fucking tired. I'm ready to go. And their silence is saying everything. The rehoming of everybody is saying everything.
They're not screaming from the top of the rooftops. And because if you listen to what they say, the people involved, if you listen to what they're claiming, according to them, she made up the whole thing. And if that's the case, why aren't they saying that? As someone said to me, you know, if there was ever a group that acts like guilty people or suspicious people, it's the people that are silent. And that is really tough to argue. I mean, that's not only maybe tough to argue with, it's borders on impossible to argue with. If you seemingly, and I believe that those people had nothing to do with it, but listen, I don't know what to make at this point.
Dude.
I mean, where is it?
Okay,
I don't see it.
Shut up for a second. Okay. First of all, dude, you look like a downsy penis. You look like a penis with downs. That's what you look like. Not a person with Downs' penis. You look like a penis with downs is what you look like. It's really, really bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. And you're also a bona fide ball sack, just a walking bona fide ball sack. You have no fucking brains. Like, you are a significant and, well, hardly significant, just barely significant because we're talking about you. But your significance is only based on your failure. You are only known for how notorious you are at failing, John DePetro. That's fascinating. It's really fun to watch. Like, I'm telling you, it's really fun. Like, I hope you never stop, dude. All these people that are like, oh my God, stop him. I'm like, why? It's fucking great. Are you kidding? This guy is absolutely retarded. I mean, dumb, ignorant. And like, I'm trying to tell y'all, like, it sure sounds like a lot of backpedaling going on right there. I got to tell you, as I stated on Twitter when I posted this, y'all can keep this motherfucker, dude. We don't want him. I don't want him over here. Dude, you know what he's like? Dude, all this guy knows how to do is fail. We don't claim this motherfucker. This dude, first of all the lies this guy has told, dude, he has no quarter with me. None. I will not claim this dude. I will never be like, he's all right. No, you know why? And it's because he's a fucking jinx. He's got to be, dude. He's got to be. Look, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of that fucking guy in A Bronx Tale. That whenever this guy showed up to place a bet, everybody fucking tore up their fucking tickets. Like, forget it, dude. This guy just fucking showed up. He's a fucking jinx. You put this guy, you bring this guy over to our side, dude. Who knows what kind of fucking disasters will take place? No. Get the fuck out. You smell, dude. Get the fuck out of here. That is exactly how I would treat this piece of shit. Dude, you reek. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to bring, dude, you smell like blood and we're in the water, bro, and you're trying to bring sharks. No, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, you smell like gasoline and There's fire everywhere, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, just I mean, that dude is fucking clearly something is supernaturally makes him a loser, bro. Like that's the truth. Like it's got to be. It can't just be the decisions this guy makes because he fails so fucking always. Like it's crazy. It's just constant failure. And here he is. He can't even put together this one simple thing. Well, the people who are fucking staying quiet and hiding are fucking liars, bro. Dude, anybody who is stupid enough to fall for this fucking Ian Whiffen 2:27 a.m. search didn't happen bullshit, you've got to be fucking dumb. Dude, you deserve to fail at life if you're that stupid. If you're that stupid, you deserve to fail at life. Sitting here making excuses for that 2:27 a.m. search. Get the fuck out of here. Jen McCabe not only made the 2:27 a.m. search, she called her sister. She fucking lied about it. The McAllister, which proves that the Alberts were awake when all of this shit was happening in their front fucking lawn, which makes them all the more suspicious. And let's not forget, it was their front lawn. This motherfucker this whole time has been talking up cop killers and protecting them and trying to sway the attention away from them. And now he's going, I don't understand the silence. It's, it's just kind of weird that people are, because, if you're innocent and, they say, I've heard people say that the people who are the most quiet are the guilty ones. So I'm just wondering now. I'm trying to put it together. I'm trying to put it together, dude. Like you trying to think is fucking painful, bro. No wonder you only get like 60 people in your chat. You trying to think is frustrating to people. Like that's what's wrong with your content. You thinking out loud. That's what's wrong with your content, dude. You've got failure just dripping all over you, dude. Like, look at that, dude. Even your clothes. Look at that. That's just fuck. Oh my God. I'm sorry about your tail light, but it wasn't me. Dude, I have video of you. It wasn't me. I'm trying to tell you that I would never smash your tail light. The tail light it combusted. Like, look at this guy. Let's see what Aiden posted here about Randazza. Who's his client? So Aiden posted this. It's redacted. But it's from Randazza, and it says, Dear Mr. Blank, we serve as a First Amendment counsel to the owner of the X account, Murray Hill guy. You're a client, Julia something, agreed to a date with my client. What am I reading, bro? She then asked him if he voted for Zoran Mamdini, implying that it mattered in the context of the date. And my client's response was to cancel the date and to post the exchange on his social media account. A few people laughed. That should have been the end of it. Instead, Julia then activated a total batshit mode. This is an actual letter, like Randazzo, like a real letter. Like it's from the letter. Is that letter hitting is from like his firm, bro? So he goes on to say, instead, Julia then activated total batshit mode, threatened to call the police on him, for tweeting out the interaction. That and that he would be hearing from her lawyer. I guess that you're the backup to that threat. In operative part, your demand states, we are reaching out regarding recent online posts and content that have referenced or appeared to reference our client, either directly or indirectly. While we understand the nature of social media commentary, certain representations may be construed as defamatory or damaging to our client's reputation and well-being. And the material remains online, we may need to consider further legal remedies. I sense by the tenor of your demand that you don't entirely believe in it yourself. I suspect that your conversation with Julia went something like, Julia, there's not a thing you could do about this. Are you out of your fucking mind? Then something other than conviction in the ideas expressed convinced you to say, fine, I'll send this stupid demand. I'm sorry, bro. I get it. Sometimes you just get stuck in a situation. Oh my fucking God, dude. I am going to take your threat literally. That if my client does not remove this content from his social media, you're going to consider further legal remedies. You'll consider them, then realize that one of them is fucking stupid, and that will be the end of this. Or you can escalate this and we can make you look even dumber. Your move. Yeah, if I'm ever in any kind of civil trouble of any kind, I'm hiring Randazza. 100%. Without a doubt. Hiring Randazza. It's like hiring myself with a law degree. I love it. I love it. Now, somebody's been having a meltdown on Twitter for the last couple of days. Let's see.
You guys don't think this shit through, do you?
Okay, not her. Not her. My bad. That lady is wacky. Ooh, Casey Anthony was out on a date in New Hampshire Wednesday with a new haircut. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing a bunch of new shit here and trying to decide if I want to go over it. I won't go over that right now. All right, let me just do it this way. Yeah, somebody's been having a fucking meltdown. And I haven't even seen anything from today. All right, let's start with this one. So, Krusty Panties, she posts on Twitter here. Oh, hey, what's up, Kelly Reed? She posts on Twitter here, for all you Karen Reed's dumbass supporters who believe she cares about justice for John O'Keefe and is on a mission to find the real killers and bring them to justice, wrong. She is trying to dismiss the lawsuit against her. It doesn't have an Ice Cube's chance in hell of being dismissed, but she's going to try because she wants to take zero accountability for the life she took in a drunken, reckless rage. Okay, so first of all, yeah, that's just fucking stupid. Like, she can absolutely, it's just plain stupid. If you have means to dismiss a civil case, you fucking dismiss it. You file a motion to dismiss it, whether you expect it to go through or not, whether you expect it to get dismissed or not. I've never seen a case where they actually don't try to file a motion to dismiss. It'll either get approved or denied, but you try, like, what does that have anything to do with whether or not Karen wants justice for John O'Keefe? And here's the thing, is Karen's not responsible for getting justice for John O'Keefe. You know who is? The Commonwealth. That's who's responsible. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Massachusetts State Police, they had an opportunity to collect and analyze evidence properly and handle evidence properly. They had an opportunity to not violate Karen Reed's rights. The Norfolk County DA's office had an opportunity to conduct a sound investigation into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe instead of worrying about covering their own asses. These are the people to blame. These are the people to blame. And it's really funny because even if she thinks that Karen Reed is guilty, if she expected anyone to think that she has a brain in her head, she'd still be blaming the Massachusetts State Police and the Norfolk County DA's office for the fact that Karen Reed is free. If Karen Reed is this rabid, drunken cop killer, right? Oh, yeah. I have that same feeling, Kelly Reed. I have that same feeling. I could brag here when I say, and it's a humble brag. It's a humble brag because maybe I've just gotten lucky. But the fact is over the last year and a half since I've been covering this case, I've been right about more than I've been wrong. I've been right about a hell of a lot more than I've been wrong. As soon as I found out that there were text messages between Brian Higgins and Karen Reed, immediately I said, Brian Higgins is the only one with motive here. He's the only one with any motive. I'm not saying he did it, but he's the only one with any motive. Then what happens? The video footage comes out where he's the only one who is seen or heard acting aggressive towards John O'Keefe. So, like, in lieu of that, in lieu of my humble brag, okay? And there's a lot more I was right about, by the way, but I'll keep it humble. But in lieu of my humble brag, I feel confident that, yeah, Krusty, I mean, in lieu of the fact that we know Krusty's an idiot, there's that to consider, but we're not seeing the end of this. And we're not hearing, why is Alan Jackson so publicly saying that there's still justice to be had for John O'Keefe and they're not done? He's done this on Turtleboys and he's done this on Vanity Fair, in a Vanity Fair article. I don't believe that he would do this so publicly unless he was serious and he had something set up ready to go. that he's got something planned, something in the works. And yes, Bettero's letter that is coming up is going to be nuclear, as Betero is putting it. I cannot wait for that. Man. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, this is just one meltdown after the other from her. And here she says something here. But she says, and this is her repost here. Let's see, not to upset the free Karen Reed morons, but after speaking to a few people, I will report what the media won't. The troopers being moved out of the Norfolk County DA's office are sad to leave each other, but wanted out because it's a toxic environment after all that went down. Yuri Buchanan's position is actually more like a promotion. He's in charge of starting a new IA unit from scratch. Okay. Okay. He has been reassigned to head up a brand new IA unit. So you're going to tell me that Bukkake, arguably the second most corrupt cop in this entire scenario, okay? The entire, both in the Karen Reed and Turtleboy fiasco, you're going to tell me that the Massachusetts State Police's solution to this whole thing is to promote this guy and make him in charge of investigating dirty cops. I'd like to see that come about. So nobody believes that, by the way. And then she reposted this with a caption saying, I'm going to give it a few more days, and then I'm going to start spilling every recent failure from DA Michael Morrissey with receipts, things I've been holding back for months. So what that sounds like is, this is how that's translating to me. Maybe I'm a little dramatic. Maybe I'm just hopeful. Maybe I am just wishfully thinking. Maybe I'm making an educated wish, as Deadpool would say. Now, what that sounds like to me, if I'm reading between the lines, what that sounds like to me is she's getting ghosted, y'all. DA Michael Morrissey was like, nope, this bitch is too much of a dumpster fire. There's way too much heat on me. I need to get the fuck away from her. And she has been ghosted. That is absolutely what I believe. And now she doesn't like that she's being ghosted. And so now she basically threatens the Norfolk County DA's office via Twitter. That's what this comes off as to me. And I hope she does. I hope that she spills all the tea. Please, Krusty Panties, please spill all the Michael Morrissey tea, all the receipts that I'm sure you are perfectly innocent in, I'm sure. Please do that. But, don't worry. If you don't, I'm sure Judge Doolin's going to go ahead and do that for us. Okay? So I'm not too worried about it. Because here's the thing, is this is somebody having a meltdown. How do you know that she's having a meltdown? Because there's no fucking way that she has the kind of receipts that she's claiming to have and they don't incriminate her in some way. There's no way. She's never going to drop these so-called receipts. I don't believe that she even has them. Because A, she's either lying about these receipts and their existence because she's having a fucking online meltdown because the walls are closing in on her day by day, or B, she is going to act out of complete and utter fucking irrationality and drop the receipts anyway in a kamikaze move, not giving a fuck how they incriminate her because she's having a fucking meltdown online. And it's really fun. It's really fun to see like the comments. Dude, nobody gets ratioed worse than Krusty Panties. It's so crazy. What blows my mind about Krusty Panties is very, very simple. She's somebody who seems to feed off of negative energy. And I'm happy to give it to her. Far be it from me to be this person. Dude, listen, I'm here to spread joy. Okay. I make you all happy because I make you guys giggle and laugh from time to time. It's fun. It's nice. Sometimes I say the occasional inspiring shit. That's nice. It feels good to have that kind of dynamic with you guys. I like that I get to bring joy to people for a living, dude. It's beautiful. I love it. But see, far be it from me to not provide or to dictate to you what brings you joy. So if Krusty is one of these people, because I think of Krusty Panties is one of these people who's like she's like one of those characters like in a cartoon that you would watch in the 80s, really weak fucking plot writing, villain writing. Oh, we're gonna write this fucking this fucking insatiable monster that the more you shoot at it, the stronger it gets. That's Krusty Panties on Twitter. That's exactly her existence, bro. That's what she lives off of. She loves it. She loves to be fucking hated, bro. Now, I can't provide that to her because I don't hate anybody. But what I would be happy to do is just, if she loves to be on Twitter and she loves to be shit on a constant basis, far be it from me to not provide her with such joy and shit on her on a constant basis. That is my duty, dude. That is what I've been put here to do. I am convinced of it now. I've been put here to bring joy to anybody I could possibly bring joy to. And if pointing out what a piece of shit you are on a constant basis is something that you get off on, far be it from me to deny you of this, Krusty. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it because it brings me joy too. I love shitting all over a piece of shit. Just, oh, look, a turd. Let me just dump all over that shit. I love it. It's really fun. You know what it's like really what it's like? It's like after I took a fucking dump and then, you gotta pee, like you take a second, you know what I mean? And then you pee, because you just want to you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. It's like that. It's like that. It's like peeing on a turd. It's that same kind of satisfaction that I get. And then 2 minutes later, I forget all about it. You know what I mean? I jump in the shower and I'm singing Journey songs. That's what I'm doing. I piss on it, I jump in the shower, and I'm not stopping believing. That's what I'm doing. That's how I handle Krusty. But it's so much fun. So much fun. Every time she says something, I'm just gonna. I love it. I don't even like Journey. But I'm singing those songs in the shower anyway. Don't even like Journey, bro. Let's see what else we got here. God, and it's funny because you have to find the joy in this stuff. You have to find the joy in this stuff. Because she doesn't get exhausted. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't get exhausted. I'm not going to get exhausted. Like, I'm just not. Ask Bullhorn Betty. Ask fucking JLR. I'm not going to get exhausted, dude. Like, if I see what a fucking piece of shit you are and you seem to just love being hated, I'm just going to like point out all the reasons that you should be hated. And I'm going to do it with love. Because again, I want to make sure to bring you joy. It's my pleasure to do that. It's my pleasure. It's not my problem that you're the shitbag that you are, and it's not my responsibility to like try to change you or anything like that. Like, I'm just simply like, it's my responsibility to myself that when you're such a destructive fucking shitbag, that I just find the potpourri in it all. You know what I mean? I have to find a way to make it tolerable for me. And that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Like, what's really crazy is I don't even have to talk about her kids. I don't have to talk about her family. I don't have to talk about whether or not she's a good mom or blah, blah, blah. I never have to do that. I never have to do that. All I have to do is just read the fuckery that she posts. It's that easy because like she's so full of shit and she's such a trash bag that like it's just easy. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to dox her. I don't have to find secret messages between her and other people. All I have to do is just post what she puts out publicly just to point out, just remind myself what a fucking disgusting, smelly, trashy shitbag she is. Just a hateful, miserable, smelly cunt. Like, that's all I have to do. Because it's not that I'm like, oh, you know, I'm going to find out that you're a smelly, shitty cunt. I don't have to do that. I don't have to Turtleboy the shit. You know what I mean? I don't have to do that. All I have to do is just show what she shows the world. And I'm just going to keep doing it. It's now part of this whole thing. Like, now, like, I am so full on into Aiden's case now that I'm getting into everybody, dude. I'm going to start making Twitter all of my content, bro. That's like not all of it, but I'm going to include it in content. I'm just going to be constantly fucking doing live streams, and I'm just going to be trashing these people until they hide under a fucking rock like Canceled Karen did. Dude, Canceled Karen is so scared. Canceled Karen is so scared of doing Patreon streams because, and that was her only source of income. That was her last source of income. She is so scared of doing Patreon streams because I would fucking, I had a Patreon. I subscribed to her Patreon. To me, that's worth the money. It's worth it. It's worth supporting her. Why? Because people are going, man, I used to love shitting all over Canceled Karen, bro. I used to love it. And I don't ever get to do it anymore. And I'd be like, I got you. So it's worth being a Patreon member. And then I'd download her shit and then I'd fucking review it. And anybody, and I would post, I'd be like, anybody who subscribed to Critical K because you just want to hate watch her, cancel your subscription right now. From now on, I got you. I'm going to go ahead and stream them and I'm going to review them. And that way you don't have to support her. That's what I used to do. I would snipe her fucking Patreon streams because fuck her. And now, what is she? A fucking handle that tells everybody to shut up. That's it. That's all she is. Think about it. There's so many people out there that are still going, Critical K is so vile. She's such a vile person. Dude, she's not vile. She's just a fucking nothing, dude. She's just this empty fucking handle that tells everybody to shut up. She doesn't make any sense. And she thinks that I reported her channel. That's the funny thing, is I never had to report her channel. I never did. I've only reported one channel in my entire life. It wasn't hers. But I've only reported one channel. But I never reported her channel. She got mass reported constantly because she's a fucking shitbag. Because she would dox people, and she would dox victims and their family members, and she would trash victims and their family members, and she would defame victims and their family members. She was a nightmare, and she would do it all for the sake of controversy, to attract people just as shitty as her. And you'd be shocked at how many people enjoyed it. She had so many followers that just subscribed her because they couldn't believe that she was really that shitty. They were like, nobody's really this shitty. And she was just so good at being shitty. So then she gets her channels taken away from her because people mass report her. I never reported her once. But see, the fact that she blames me for her no longer having a channel gives me the biggest fucking lady boner I ever got in my fucking life. I love that shit. I love that shit. I don't think of her as blaming me. I think of being credited for it. Fuck yeah. I'll take that shit. If she lays down her head at night thinking that I'm the reason why she no longer makes one red fucking cent on the internet anymore, if she lays down her head and wonders if it was me, then I'm satisfied. I'm good. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. But it wasn't me. It was her. But that's the cool thing. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, how do you get personal satisfaction from people who can't take any accountability? People who have no self-awareness and no accountability, the kind of self-awareness and accountability that it would take, that it is required to make positive changes in your life. That's a fact. This accountability and self-awareness are vital if you want to make positive changes in your life. And if you're incapable of these things, you're not going to make me fucking miserable. I'm just going to exploit it. I'm just going to exploit it. I'm going to point out and make it entertainment. I'm going to take your shortcomings and make them my strong suits. That's what I'm going to do. You want to be a piece of shit, and you want to be trashy, and you want to fucking you want to hurt people. Well, then I'm going to make a fucking joke out of you. That's what I'm always going to do. I'm going to point out exactly why you're not a threat and you're a fucking joke. And Canceled Karen has not dared to drop another Patreon live stream since I was covering and reviewing and sniping hers. She has not dared. She is exactly where I want her. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The reason why I have always come out on top in these things, same reason Karen Reed came out on top. Same reason Turtleboy is going to come out on top. Because I only do this with shitbags. Because I know I'm right. I know I have the truth on my side. And I know that I have a genuine passion for justice. And I have an unwavering desire to be right. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. That's why these people can never, ever, ever beat me. That's why they'll never beat Turtleboy. That's why they didn't beat Karen. Like, if you're a shitbag, I've been on this platform long enough to know that if you're a fucking shitbag, it's going to come full circle right back at you. It just is. KLM, thank you so much. Check out Ted Daniels' tweet on Commissioner Cox about Deaver and the Karen Reed trial. Lies, I tell you. No, but that's what I'm saying is these trolls, I love the trolls. I love the trolls. The trolls are my fucking bread and butter. The trolls are my bread and butter, dude. Let's check Ted Daniel, bro. Let's do that. All right. Boston's top cop questioned about Karen Reed case. Officer who testified in her murder trial. Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox answered questions about the Karen Reed case on Thursday, specifically about one of his officers who testified in the Mansfield woman's high-profile murder retrial. Kelly Dever, a current Boston police officer who's called to the stand by Reed's defense team on June 2nd. She was working dispatch for the Canton Police Department when John O'Keefe was found dead. While Dever was on the stand, the defense implied that Cox influenced her testimony. Then Dever confirmed that she had a conversation with Cox about the murder case at some point before taking the stand in the retrial, but she denied getting any guidance. He just wanted me to tell the truth, Dever said of Cox. After speaking alongside Boston Mayor Michelle Wu and Suffolk County District Attorney Kevin Hayden at a Safe Shopping Initiative event, reporters caught up with Cox and questioned him about Dever's testimony. Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that? Cox was asked. Cox quickly answered, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with Karen Reed case. I have an organization full of over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. The reality is that I get information passed on, whether these people are high or low, and I encouraged everyone, Cox continued. If you want to work here and you belong here, then we are going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. I had nothing to do with Karen Reed, no discussion about Karen Reed. So are you lying? Or is Dever lying? The reality is that I get information passed on, whether those people are high or low, and I encourage everyone. Okay? If you want to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. I had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about Karen Reed. But Dever said that in regards to her testimony, she was told to do the right thing by you, Commissioner Cox. I didn't know she was even associated with that case. Cox says, I was struck like, what do I have to do with Karen Reed, with the Karen Reed case? I've never said those words together. So the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. Okay, now I know he's fucking lying. You're going to tell me a Boston police officer was killed. You're the police commissioner. And in those 3 years, with everyone in town talking about it, you as the police commissioner never discussed the Karen Reed case with anybody. Get the fuck out of my face. You're a goddamn fucking liar. You are, I mean, dude. Let's just get real here, bro.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
I mean, come on. You're going to sit here now. I mean, yeah, You're going to tell me Brian Albert being the star Boston cop of the precinct? Nobody talks about him around the precinct. Nobody talks about John O'Keefe and his murder being a Boston cop around the precinct. That worries me about the Boston Police Department. That's a bad look on the Boston Police Department there, Commish. It's a real bad look. You're telling me that nobody seems to give a fuck? Because in not so many words, you basically said, you were like, well, I've never even uttered the words Karen Reed. So in basically so many words, you're basically saying you don't give a fuck about getting justice for one of your own. Which I don't believe. I think he's lying. But that wasn't the right lie to go with, dude. Because you're implying that you don't give a fuck about one of your own. That's a bad message to send to the rest of your precinct there. To those other 3,000 employees. That is a bad message to send to them, sir. Cox was last asked, do you feel that you were inappropriately brought into this? He responded, that case is over. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I had nothing to do with Karen Reed. Again, he triples down on it. Reed attorney Alan Jackson also questioned Dever about what she saw inside the Canton Police Department Sallyport on the morning of John O'Keefe's death on January 29th, 2022. But the exchange quickly turned heated when Jackson asked her if she wanted to be in the courtroom. Remember, he was like, do you even want to be here? And Dever responded that she had no idea why I'm here, she says. Reed's team long argued that Reed was framed and suggested that investigators planted evidence against their client, including possibly Reed's vehicle, which was brought into the Sallyport garage. Dever said that she told federal agents in August 2023 that she saw ATF agent Brian Higgy and former Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkey inside the garage. While Dever said she made that comment in good faith, she told the jury that she later realized she couldn't have seen them because the two went into the garage after she had finished her shift. So why did you tell the feds? You didn't sit there and think, so this is how we know that she's lying. You know what I'm saying? This is how we know she's lying, is because why would she sit down and tell the feds this in the first place? Like, is she trying to say that she just got excited about talking to the feds? She got a lady boner about talking to the feds and sat down with the feds and was going, ooh, so I'm just going to make some shit up so it sounds interesting because I love that they're talking to me. That's not what happened. She said what she saw. She's a rookie cop and she's looking to fucking make a good impression and do the right thing because she's naive to all the corruption. And she doesn't know anything about the case. So she just told the feds what she saw. She didn't think she was throwing anybody under the bus. She didn't think that she was getting anybody in trouble. And then what happens? She gets called up to Commissioner Cox's office, where he denies mentioning anything about Karen Reed, and denies ever saying anything about Karen Reed, as a matter of fact. Whereas Dever said she gets up there and he tells her to do the right thing. And then after she leaves his office, not long after she leaves his office, she ends up with triple the salary that she had before she walked into his office. Okay. Love it. Awesome. Fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, people.
Thank you.
7 hours long, so I'm not going to go over all
One
of
of the
this.
cameras, one of the monitors that you had access to back on January 29th did show the footage from, or did it show the footage from that, one of the other Sallyport garage cameras?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure, it was a little bit clunky on my part. Did one of the monitors that you looked at, that you had access to at the dispatch area, did it show the video footage or the video feed from the Sallyport garage?
So I already said I don't remember where in dispatch
She looks like she cries during sex.
the screen with the cameras was. There was a camera in the Sallyport. So if I'm going to make the assumption, then yes, of course. But now that's an assumption.
I'm not asking you for an assumption now. I'm asking you, did one of the feeds, now we're talking about the camera, the other side of the camera is the feed. Do you recall whether or not there was footage that you could see on a monitor in the dispatch area that showed Sallyport?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. My clarification. How long?
So I don't know what that means. So what do you mean you're going to go with yes?
Yeah, that look how annoyed she is with fucking Judge Bev. Like, rolling her eyes. Like, and she's like, I'm gonna go with yes. Like, what does that mean, dude? Like, that's a great question from Beverly Canoni right there. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because what that translates to me is you're trying to like not tell the truth, and yes is gonna be the best answer you could go with that seems the most believable to keep the heat off you, at least in this situation, until we get to the next situation that puts more heat on you while you're sitting there on the cross-examination stand. Like, that's how it comes off. I'm gonna go with yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Wow.
What time about did you take over the dispatch desk that morning?
Well,
Answer yes.
I mean, let's watch that again. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous, dude. That's just ridiculous. You gotta watch that shit in regular speed. Look at this.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. My clarification. How long?
So I don't know what that means. So what do you mean you're going to go with yes? Is your answer yes? Yes.
Thank you.
Wow. Amazing.
What time about did you take over the
She
dispatch
pulled it
desk
off, Bubble.
that morning?
She pulled it off.
Immediately following when the 911 call came in.
Would have been 6-ish in the morning. Does that sound about right?
Sometime I would say towards the later of my shift, but it was the middle of winter and dark out. So I don't know if it was 4, 5, 6.
Understood. But it was still dark out.
Yes.
Once you took over the dispatch desk, did you stay there even past your normal shift ending to support the investigation that was ongoing?
Not to support the investigation. I was just on overtime.
Okay. So you stayed past your normal end time of your shift that day?
Yes, on overtime.
You stayed into the afternoon, correct?
I believe the shift ended at 3:45 p.m. for the Canton Police.
But you stayed past your ending shift time, correct? I'm sorry, I'll rephrase it. Did you stay past your ending shift time?
For my regular shift, yes, because I was on overtime on the day shift.
Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sallyport?
So obviously here she's coached to say, oh, well, you worked overtime. So, you know, you left before your shift technically ended, but you were on overtime, so you were still past. So we'll just use this as a confusion factor here and say, oh, well, you were mistaken because you actually weren't there as long as you say you were. What? It's really weird. Like, it's a really weird thing to say because you can tell that she doesn't want to be there, and you can tell that she doesn't want to lie on the stand. And she's taking it out on Alan Jackson because she still looks at the Boston Police Department as her who she's loyal to. Right? So the Boston Police Department is just like, dude, just go up there, but you can't fucking, you can't fucking sit here and throw other cops under the bus. You know what I mean? So just do the right thing, blah, blah, blah. But she's like pissed because she knows that means that she has to lie. But since she's loyal to the Boston Police Department, she's pissed about being in this situation. And Alan Jackson is just the easiest person to take it out on because she's throwing a childish fit. Because she's in this shitty situation. Because I honestly kind of feel bad for her. Not really. Not really. Because I think that she's just weak. That's what I think. Which, the same thing that made her sit here and take some fucking bribe and pay fucking some pay raise. Same thing that caused her to do that. Is the same thing that's making her mad here. Is the same thing that's making her blame Alan Jackson for this shit and not the Boston police. Because, like, I mean, yeah, like, she's just pissed that she has to be there. Like, she doesn't want to lie. Any police officer who has to testify in a trial should automatically be thinking they're there to get justice for somebody. And they're hoping that their contribution is going to facilitate getting justice for that person, especially another cop, a Boston cop, for the very department that she has all this loyalty to. So if she was being honest, it wouldn't be such a fucking chore for her to be sitting there and have to sit there, and she wouldn't be so combative against Alan Jackson here. She would simply be like, all right, man, maybe I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but I'll do the best I can. I'll be, she'll look over at the jury and be like, I'm happy to be as helpful as I can. If whatever I remember, then sure. But that's not what happened. She has to sit up there and look like a fool. There's no way that she can sit up there and not look like a lying idiot. Not just a liar, not just an idiot, but a lying idiot. Because she has to sit up there and she has to expect the jury to believe that she testified, well, not testified to a grand jury, but told FBI agents the specific details about Higgy and Berkey in the Sallyport, and then has to go, I must have remembered that wrong. Not maybe it wasn't them and it was somebody else. That's a little more believable. Sure. But it's not. It's still not believable. So what she goes with is, well, I must have remembered it wrong. Nobody believes that. We know now the jury sure as fuck didn't believe it. Nobody believes that.
While you were on that show.
So we've discussed this previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was.
And she also accuses Alan Jackson here of threatening her with perjury charges if she doesn't testify the way that he wants her to. That's what she does here, which is ridiculous. Because there's no way Jackson's going to do something that careless. We're talking about a guy who is so meticulous in the way that he does everything that he's going to try to pull something that careless to where the witness that he's cross-examining on the stand is going to accuse him of something like that when he is already afraid that the jury might look at him in that way. He knows the prosecution's already trying to paint him out to be as a sleazy Hollywood defense attorney. Alan Jackson already knows this. So why the fuck would Alan Jackson go, hey, you're going to say what I want you to say, or I'm going to have you charged? That's crazy.
Was not a memory that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie. I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
Ms. Dever, I've never asked you to make a statement one way or the other on the stand.
There you go.
I'm
Nice.
asking you an open-ended question.
Okay,
Did you
see that? She already got overzealous, and Alan Jackson got right in front of that. He was like, I never told you to say anything. You're up here to tell the truth. That's it. I'm asking you an open-ended question.
Prior
let
to
me
the
ask you a
first
question. Did you observe something in the Sallyport garage on January 29th, 2022 that you found unusual, that stuck out in your mind?
given factual information.
See, that should just be a simple no if she's telling the truth. If she remembered what happened that night wrong, then that would be a simple no. No, I didn't see anything that was unusual, as a matter of fact. And then his next question would be, well, why then did you tell the FBI that you saw Brian Higgins and Ken Berkowitz in the Sallyport for a weirdly long time? Well, I don't know. Maybe I was thinking about some other incident. I don't know. I just remembered it wrong. Something. But being combative here, this is always very telling. And this is, I would say, this is definitely part of Alan Jackson's strategy when he talks about his cross-examinations. And I'd say this is all of the trial attorney strategies too, is to be ready for them to avoid yes or no answers. Like, always watch out for yes or no answers. Because my personal observations, and this is just from my time at the Glare Institute of Law and Stuff. In my experience at the Glare Institute of Law and Stuff, seeing somebody actively avoid as much as they can answering a yes or no question with yes or no tells me a lot about the truth behind their testimony, whether or not it exists. So when she sits there and doesn't just say no, it means that she's worried about what the next question is going to be. She's playing tennis with Alan Jackson. She's worried about what his next question is going to be based on what her next answer is going to be. So she's thinking real hard about what her answer is going to be. And it's not going to be yes or no, which means that she's lying, because right there, that already shows the jury that she is being combative and that she's lying about something, which creates doubt.
That makes it so I know I did not. No.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
Do you remember being interviewed on August 9th, 2023?
I do.
That was by a separate law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
2 separate law enforcement agents. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were advised during the course of that interview on August 29th of something, correct?
Can you rephrase
I'm sorry,
that?
August 9th.
So what was I advised of? Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our phone call prior to the first trial if I didn't lie on the stand right now.
She was dying to put that out there.
I'm telling you, I did not see anything. Factually, I've been provided evidence by a timeline that it is not correct.
Ms. Dever, my question was this. Were you advised that it was a crime to lie to those law enforcement agents? Yes or no?
No.
They never told you, they never admonished you that it would be a crime to lie to them?
Objection.
Sustained. As to form, Mr. Jackson.
Sure. Did they advise you of anything? Any consequences of lying to them?
So we had a willing conversation.
Yes or no?
I don't recall.
Okay, there's your
You're lying. You're lying.
answer.
You don't recall if they advised you of anything?
No, because it wasn't.
As a trained law enforcement agent.
Thank you, Angel Baby.
Go ahead and ask a question, but both of you only one at a time, okay?
As a trained law enforcement, are you aware that law enforcement agents?
When you have intent to lie, yes.
Okay. So you knew that when you spoke to these law enforcement officers, correct?
Yes.
Now, this is brilliant because he's like, so you knew that you couldn't lie to these FBI agents. I mean, first of all, like, you're a cop. You know you can't lie to FBI. Second of all, the FBI, I'm sure, being as thorough as the FBI is, advised you that it is a crime to lie to them, right? So with that being said, it's pretty safe to assume that she didn't lie to the FBI when she was talking to the FBI, that she's lying now. This is the picture that he's trying to paint for the jury, which is brilliant. Like, okay, she's lying now after she's had an increase in her salary. And
did you tell these law enforcement officers that you, in fact, saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port with the
Objection.
SUV? May I finish my question?
You can finish this question. Go ahead.
Did you tell those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, that you saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time?
That was my recollection at the time.
So you did say that?
At the time, that is what I recollected.
Okay.
at the time, that's what I recollected. At the time, that's what I recollected. You know, because I dropped 4 tabs of acid before my shift. You know, so that's what I saw at the time. Okay.
Did you indicate that you noted I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
You and I spoke along with Mr. Unetti and Ms. Little on a conference call last year sometime. You remember that?
Yes.
Between the time that you were interviewed on August 9th, 2023, and when we spoke sometime in maybe it was April or so of last year, does that sound about right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have any
people need to understand, man, like when they said that their matter into the Karen Reed case has concluded, their investigation into the matter of Karen Reed has concluded. The only thing that I'm taking that as is they got everything they need as far as the Karen Reed case. Michael Morrissey's office oversees a lot of cases. So I'm guessing that they have all they need from the Karen Reed case. They're collecting more evidence with other shit. Maybe they're just putting a case together. Maybe they're planning on how they're going to present the indictment or indictments. But when they say that the matter in the investigation into the Karen Reed aspect of their investigation is concluded, well, then in the matter of Karen Reed is concluded, that just means, okay, well, that's it. For that, we got everything we need there. And they're just getting other shit not involving Karen Reed. Maybe they're still investigating Turtleboy's case right now.
Conversation with any other party about your potential involvement in this case?
No.
Did you have a conversation with anybody in the commissioner's office at Boston Police Department?
Not about anything malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious. Why do you say malicious?
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to the Commissioner Michael Cox's office?
Here we go.
It had to have been before the first trial. So, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the force?
Wow.
At the time that you were called up to the commissioner's office, on the Boston Police Department?
No.
Was it 5 years, 2 years, 2 months? Give me a ballpark.
So I've been on the department for 2 years and 2 months. I would say somewhere in the range of a year.
Okay. Did you find it unusual for would you call yourself a rookie back then?
Yes.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally to discuss a matter?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not anything that I found unusual, given the fact he is someone who wanted to show support for his officer.
So I'm guessing all of your training class or all of your entry classes at Boston PD, they've all gone up to the commissioner's office as well?
I don't know anyone else who's been in this particular circumstance.
Do you know anybody else who's been called up to the commissioner's office at your level at the Boston Police Department?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know of any of your colleagues with your level of experience that have been called up to the commissioner's office for a specific instance?
Objection.
That's sustained.
Now, when you went up to the commissioner's office, did you respond to his indication that he wanted to see you up in his office?
It wasn't a direct line of contact from him.
Okay. Did you respond? Did you ultimately go? That's what I mean by respond. Did you go to his office?
He's my boss, so yes.
Okay. And who else was in that office?
Me and him. The two of us.
General counsel for the Boston Police Department?
No, it's just me and him.
During the conversation that we had last year, did you say that general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department was also there?
Objection.
Not during that conversation.
Objection.
Next question.
Wow.
Was there another time that you went to the commissioner's office where general legal counsel was there?
No.
Have you ever met general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department?
Yes.
Was it in the commissioner's office?
No.
When was it?
During my conversation with the agents.
You took a lawyer with you to talk to this other law enforcement agency?
I'm going to see you type out on this.
Wow. Oh, there's my girl. Hey, Tara. Look at how close Aiden is to her. I should ask Aiden how her hair smells.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Dever, when we left off, I was asking you about the meeting at the commissioner's office. And I want to clear this up. Was general legal counsel in that office or not when you had a meeting with the commissioner, Michael Cox?
No, it was just me and the commissioner.
At some point, did the commissioner say to you that Boston Police Department, insofar as your connection to this case is concerned, Boston Police Department fully supports you?
Yes.
Did he also say, do the right thing?
That's a direct quote. So I can't recollect if he said a direct quote 2 years ago.
A year ago, when you talked to us, the defense, did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, we told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, the Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deaver, do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever. And
That's my mistake. Let's see, like, you want me to repeat the question so I get the name right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead.
That's my mistake.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever. And
That's my mistake. Let's see, like, you want me to repeat the question so I get the name right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
Yes, and
Like Jackson loves that shit. Jackson loves that shit. Like Bev just like got in the way of that shit. She just got in the middle of the two of them. Because he was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. You want me to repeat the fucking question? Because you didn't really understand the question, apparently, because you're so focused on me fucking pronouncing your name, because that's what's important here, right? So, yeah, I'll repeat the fucking question for you if you'd like.
he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or the other.
What his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words?
Yes, madam.
That he supports me.
And?
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
And his words were, do the right thing, correct?
I don't recall.
Dude, there's so many tentacles to this fucking corruption in Massachusetts. I just can't. Like,
how many other times
the fucking commissioner of the Boston Police, like, really
testified?
That's so heartbreaking.
A court of law during the course of your job.
Two dozen, 3 dozen.
And
actually testified probably ballpark a dozen times.
In any of those other cases, has Commissioner Michael Cox called you up to his office to discuss your testimony in any of those cases? Yes or no?
That's not a yes or a no answer.
Well, yes,
oh my God.
So no comments, okay? Just.
You understand the question?
The question, yes. The implication.
The question is, in any of those, I'm asking you an open-ended question. In any of those cases, Officer Dever, not including this one, has Commissioner Michael Cox ordered you up to his office to discuss your testimony?
No.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Brennan.
Her testimony.
Were you aware there was a sequestration order?
Look at this douchebag.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview, quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave, but you recalled thinking to yourself that they were in the Sallyport for a wildly long time together.
Wildly
end quote.
Long time.
Did you say that?
That was my recollection of the time.
Okay.
So yes.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of By the way, you indicated under questioning by Mr. Brennan that you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? You remember that?
And I told you the same thing then.
That's not
Yes.
a question.
Objection.
Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question, Officer Dever. Did we read to you, were you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
Like you can't remember my name, I don't remember.
I can remember your name, Miss Dever.
Okay, so the answer is I don't remember. No
The answer is a
comments.
little more than that, Judge. I think we all.
All right, so no comments, just questions, please.
Like that chapped her ass so bad. Look at her, like she was just hung on to that fucking
Do you
anger
recall
for a
us telling
second
you?
there.
Did we read to you, were you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
Like you can't remember my name, I don't remember.
I can remember your name, Miss Dever.
Look how far back that goes.
By the way, you indicated under questioning by Mr. Brennan that you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? You remember that?
And I told you the same thing then.
That's not
Yes.
a question.
Objection.
Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question, Officer Dever.
Oh,
Did we read to you, were you read the exact same thing
look,
that I just read
this whole time she's stewing. This whole time after that, she's stewing. Look.
to you on that phone call?
Like you can't remember my name, I don't remember.
Wow. She was stewing,
Remember your
bro.
name, Miss Dever.
Okay, so the answer is I don't remember. No
Thank you,
comments.
Kat Randall.
Judge. I think we all.
All right, so no comments, just questions.
You recall us telling you that we were looking for the truth about your
Objection.
comments.
I'm going to allow it.
That we were looking for the truth.
Which I gave you, yes.
Did you also say on that phone call something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one because I'm changing my testimony?
Changing, no. But you're trying to do that.
Did you say, I know you're going to tear me a new one?
That's what you're trying to do, so yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me a new asshole, didn't you?
I don't recall that, so that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth. I'm asking you if you remember saying that during that phone call. Oh,
I don't
I know
recall.
you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall.
Okay. But you do remember saying something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard
Right there, the jury knows she's lying. Right there, the jury knows that she's just being combative for the sake of being fucking combative. Or maybe she's being combative for the sake of being angry at the fact that she has to sit up there and lie. Because if she doesn't lie, she gets fired from her job. She said herself, she testified in court here that her job depends on what she says up there. She said this during cross.
heard of something called the blue wall of silence?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you think it's important for police officers to protect one another in the field and out?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you spoken with anyone? Not Mr. Brennan. He's covered that. Spoken with anyone from the district attorney's office about your involvement in this case? Ever?
No,
Never?
unless you're going to provide a person. I've never talked to any of these people.
Have you talked to anyone at the DA's office at all in any regard?
Not to my recollection,
How about indirectly?
not to my knowledge.
Are you friends with any people that you're aware of that are connected to this case? Are you personal friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, personal friends with anyone that's connected with this case?
Other people who's been on the witness stand, one person, yes.
Who's that?
Sarah Levinson.
How long have you known Sarah?
We became friends in middle school.
Did you watch any of this trial?
Clips in passing, but no, it's 6 hours a day. So I work during the day shift, no.
So you've seen some of the footage of the goings on in this case, correct?
Yes, nothing with her. I did not watch her testimony.
Were you aware there was a sequestration order?
I don't know what that means, so no.
You're a sworn peace officer. You don't know what sequestration means
No,
in terms of witnesses?
No.
Not watching the proceedings in order to affect their testimony?
no, I wasn't aware.
But you did tune in to the case, correct?
In small clips, yes.
And you did, in
Small
fact,
clip.
on August 9th, 2023, have a fulsome conversation with two sworn police officers about your memory of what you saw, your observations on January 29th, 2022, correct?
I don't know if they're police officers necessarily, but yes.
Law enforcement agents, how about that?
Yes.
And that conversation is reflected in this piece of paper that I just read to you, correct?
Yes.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you suck, lady. You suck. Hold on. I want to go over one more thing. Just got to find it here. I guess I'll read Krusty's post about it. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm actually following this guy. I'm just not seeing it. I'm trying to find the Sean McCabe stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to find something on Sean McCabe's arrest. People are saying that Sean McCabe was arrested. I'm not seeing anything about that. So Sean McCabe is the person who started the whole anti-Bev thing. That's where the anti-Bev thing comes from. Because he was texting Turtleboy. Yeah, no, we know Michael Cox is full of shit. We know that he mentioned there's no way that he didn't talk about the Karen Reed trial. Stop it. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Sean McCabe. Well, folks, maybe, I don't know, I'll see something on it later tonight. I don't have any idea. I'm going to do my best to go live again tomorrow. Might even go live again later tonight. Who knows? Depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, you guys were absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I have missed you. And again, people, we're going to be doing a deep dive again into Turtleboy's charges. The idea is to perpetuate more awareness as to the bogusness and bullshit of all of that. And hold on a second. No, I already saw that. Hold on. I'll just read this thing real quick because I can't believe that this guy's the only person talking about it. It doesn't make sense. And it's old. Yeah, that has nothing to do with any arrest. Yeah, I don't know if Sean McCabe's been arrested or not. I'm not getting into that. Anyways, yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I love you guys. Thanks for hitting the like. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you're all make sure to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live, and all of the support. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.
Into the glare.